Regret does not feel good. Okay, it's a negative emotion. It's never gonna feel great. It's always gonna feel uncomfortable, if not painful. And so the question then becomes, what do you do with that? So a lot of us just ignore it, and that's a bad idea. There's no growth there. But some of us actually get debilitated by it, and we wallow in it, we ruminate in it, we actually luxuriate in it. That's an even worse idea. What you want to do is you want to think about it. And the problem is that most of us haven't been taught how to do that systematically. And so to me, the way I look at this now is that we should have a kind of a three-step process: inward, outward, forward. So inward, is how you reframe yourself and your regret. We should, and basically the TLDR here is treat yourself with kindness rather than contempt. The self-talk that we use, the way we talk to ourselves, is absurd. We are brutal and cruel in talking to ourselves. If we talk to anybody else, if we were in an organization and talked to other people the way we talk to ourselves, we would be fired.
Challenges is for me as a kid growing up, because of my father abandoned me, and there's hurts and there's pains and there's these places of disappointment. Communicating requires trust, and vulnerability requires trust. And to be truthful, I trusted none of you. And at the end of the day, it was easier to isolate, and it's easier to keep everybody at an arm's reach distance. The most powerful tool I think we have as people, which is communication, it was the very tool that I would not use at all because I wouldn't talk and I wouldn't let it. Or maybe it's the picture of me in the ocean and I can tread water and I'm cool. I don't need any help. But eventually over time, you get tired. And eventually over time, you begin to find yourself just losing the ability to continue to take another step, another day, another moment, another breath. To be honest, it wasn't even the fact that I wanted to die. I just didn't want to deal. I didn't want to deal with another unforeseen challenge or another hurt in a relationship where I felt abandoned or broken. This crazy nonstop race in my head. And truthfully, here's the thing, y'all, I didn't understand when I was a young kid navigating life, the most powerful tool that I will ever possess, that every single one of us has in our ability to step into. It's the power of communication. It's the power of vulnerability. It's the power of transparency. It's the power of honestly not giving a rip what anybody thinks, and to realizing what makes you and me, I believe, as humanity very unique is our ability to articulate and to communicate and to realize the power of our words, man. What makes us special, as I believe, as just people, is our ability to talk and to communicate and the ability to have the human connection.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So the solution there is don't do that. Instead, treat yourself with kindness rather than contempt. This is something called self-compassion. Recognize that your mistakes are part of the human condition, and that any mistake that you make is just a moment in your life, not the full definition from you. So that's the inward look. Okay. Outward look. There's a lot to be said for disclosure. Disclosure is an unburdening. We fear that disclosing our regrets and vulnerabilities will make people think less of us. We have 30 years of behavioral science showing that in general, people think more of us for disclosing our vulnerabilities. And the other important thing is that when we take our regrets and talk about them and write about them, we're converting this blobby emotional abstraction into concrete words. And those are less fearsome, and that helps us make sense of it.
Tell you guys, man, that my legacy is not about how many fights I win, how many cars I drive, how many homes I own. It's about how many lives I can change and impact. And I truly, truly mean that, and believe that I'm going to touch well over 10 plus million people in this planet, in this world. And that's why I make these, so I can give one person that little extra kick that's going to get them through the day, then the next day, and the next day, until they're finally where they deserve to be, where they earned to be.